Okay, thank you so much for tuning into this video. Today, I have a very special interview for you with the one and only Jenny Vaghela. She has moved from the UK to Canada about a few years ago and has been doing real estate and now works for one of the top teams in Ontario or even in Canada itself. And so this is going to be a super insightful interview. And she has a lot of tips in terms of part-time, in terms of full-time real estate, leases, deals. And this is going to be super, super special for you also. Thank you for so much for watching, and please watch until the end to get everything that you need from this video. Now, just a small note before we get into it, I've noticed a lot of you guys are not subscribed. Do me a huge favor, please, and hit that subscribe button. It helps me bring in better guests, helps me bring in better content for you guys every single month. Thank you so much for watching, and let's get into the interview. This is your idea.
No, okay, good.
Okay. All right. So without further ado, I want to welcome Jenny Vaghela. Thank you so much for joining me. How are you doing, Jenny?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing good. Awesome. So, Jenny, you reached out to me with a message. You said, Shiva, I haven't been one of your students, but I've been working with one of the top teams in real estate here in Canada and Ontario. And you said that you think you have a lot of experience to give the students. So I
Yeah,
wanted to ask you to start off, like, why do you think someone should watch today's interview?
I think someone to watch this because I think as we get into the conversation, I'll be able to say something which I wish I did do when I was getting my license to give them a head start. And I think also there may be some newcomers in general to Canada as well. And me being a newcomer and trying to get into the real estate industry when not knowing anyone, I think I can give some pointers on that as well. And I'm always about collaboration. So the reason why I reached out is, I'm not here to get clients. I'm here to be able to educate other students that are getting their license and what I did, what I would do differently as well.
Hmm. Yeah, and so for everybody watching, if like they don't know anything about you, so
Yeah.
what would you tell them? Like, who is Jenny? What do we need to know?
Okay, so I'm born and raised in London, England. I moved to Canada just 2 years ago. I was an agent back in UK since 2016, but it's a very different ball game. Like Canadian real estate and UK real estate is completely different. So I do still feel like I'm a completely new agent, right? Like
Hmm.
I've been an agent for about a year now, but I genuinely feel like it's just been the best decision I ever made. And so I wanted to stay in real estate when I moved to Canada. So I moved in 2022 and then I was working full time and then I got into getting my license and I managed to get my license within 8 months. And now, yeah, I'm part of a team, which is again another thing that I would say, like, especially for new agents, like finding a team and a mentor is, and I'll go into it in more detail, but it's one of the best decisions. Yeah.
Wow. So okay, so a few things there. First of all, you said you moved from the UK to Canada
Yeah.
in 2022.
Yes.
So first of all, how was that culture shock? And then tell me how was the real estate different as well?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was definitely a culture shock, in more so in personal ways because all my family are
Hmm.
back in the UK. So when I got the opportunity to get permanent residency, I knew that if I didn't activate it, then I'll probably lose it and not get that chance again. So I decided to take that risk and I just moved to a new country, not knowing anyone,
Wow.
and just getting right into it because I made sure I had a full-time job before I even moved here. So that was
Okay.
great that I had sorted out my full-time job before I moved here. And then I started at like 2 weeks after I'd moved here. So it's kind of all flowed perfectly. I didn't have time to, well, crazily enough, I didn't even give myself a chance to settle into Canada. Like I moved and after 2 weeks, I started working full-time Monday to Friday.
Oh my God.
So
Okay. So right
it
into
was
the
a bit
workaholic
crazy.
culture.
Yeah, exactly. But I was glad. Like I was obviously I wanted to stay in the industry, so I got a job as an admin for a commercial real estate company.
Okay.
So I was doing like all the paperwork and stuff for all the agents. So I learned a
Okay.
lot, even though I didn't, it gave me experience in commercial, but I
Mhm.
knew deep down I wanted to stay in residential because I had that from back home, even though like I mentioned it's completely different from
Hmm.
Canadian real estate.
Yeah, and so in terms of like your licensing, what did that process look like? Because you came here, you started working, and you're in the
Yes.
industry, which is cool. When
Yeah.
did you actually start the course and like was that something you already decided before you moved here? Like you're gonna get your license here?
Yeah, like I knew I wanted to get my license. I just didn't know when I would do it because I didn't want to do it part time. I think, no offense to part time agents, I do not think you can succeed as a part time agent. Like, I wanted to do this full time. It's my passion. I love it. So for me, it was very much just, I applied. I think I moved here July 2022 and I was working full time. And
Hmm.
I started my license. I'm trying to work backwards. I believe
Hmm.
January 2023. So I
Okay.
took a year and then I started my license January 2023 and I completed all my exams by August 2023.
Hmm. Wow. Okay. So it only took you like six,
Eight,
7 months?
about 8 months.
8 months.
But then I
Okay.
didn't go into real estate. So I don't say I've been an agent for like 1.5 years. Like I would say that I was still working full time when I had my license. So I didn't really get into it. So I got my license August 2023, but I hadn't really done much with it until like I believe I made the decision to go full time in about November, December time, 2024.
Hmm.
2023, sorry. Um, so it was a hard decision. And I think that's another thing that students would probably want to know is like, how am I going to juggle stuff? And so it's a kind of a different scenario. If someone's doing it just as a side hustle, so but they
Hmm.
want to still work full time, then it's different, right? For me, I knew my end goal was doing this full time,
Hmm.
nothing else, no other jobs, just doing this full time. So I took that risk. It was the hardest decision to make. I think I went back and forth for so long. And okay, am I ready to leave my full time job and have zero income? Being a new agent, and at that point I still, even right now, like I feel like I don't have a sphere. Like I would know a few people, but I'm still getting to know people because so I think that
Hmm.
was the hardest thing, deciding when was the right time. But then I just took the plunge and I said, if I don't do it, I'm never going to do it. So I gave in my notice, and then between November to January 2024, I was trying to figure out, do I want to be on a team? I was interviewing different teams. And then it was in
Hmm.
January when I started with the current team I'm on.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. So, in terms of the real estate, like, how is UK real estate different than Canada's?
So UK real estate is different in terms of you're getting an annual salary, like you're employed annually and then you get commission on top. It's just the commission's a lot smaller.
Oh, wow.
So I also just work like Monday to Saturday, but if I'm working the Saturday, then I'll get a day off in the week. So it's like a full-time job, 8 o'clock to 6:30 every day. But that was it. I
Wow.
didn't have to work after hours. Like you can only do showings between those times.
I
I
see.
log off at 6 p.m. and I'm done. Like I don't ever have to worry about anything.
And then you come
Um,
here and you're
yeah,
like, what is going
I was
on?
like, what is this? But it kind of like it was long hours, but I was very blessed. Like I feel in UK I had hit that top of where a lot of people in UK, especially London, what start out in the suburbs and get into the more expensive real estate. So before I moved here, even that was a big decision because I was, you know, and I was very glad and happy that I had reached that peak where I was selling multi-million pound homes to celebrities. Like I got to sell to celebrities and it was so amazing. I was like, wow, this is interesting. Like, and I'll just walk out my office and you see Tom Hardy, for example, and I'm like, whoa. So
Wow.
yeah, it was an amazing experience. And even that, I really built my career in the UK. And I'm like, do I want to leave that as well? But I think it was time. Like I'm glad I did it. But the main difference between UK and Canadian real estate is the fact that you're getting an annual salary. You know that you're getting monthly income coming
Mhm.
in, you know?
Mhm.
And then
And
the
so,
commission was just a bonus.
yeah, and so where were you results wise, achievements wise in UK when you left off from there?
Like it was good. Like I think my gross salary was, I mean, commission wise, it was probably about the 90K pounds,
Mhm.
probably around that. So it was a lot, and that's quite good for someone like I'd only started in 2016. So it was great. Like it was really a good experience. I'm glad that I did it, but I'm also a lot glad that I've moved here now.
Yeah, and so if you're already, pretty much like I'd say above average, at least in the UK, like what made you even want to come here? Like, why not just keep doing, what were you doing
I
there?
think it was just I had, like I said, I had that opportunity. So I feel like if I didn't activate my permanent residency, I wouldn't like
Uh,
get it. And it wasn't, I didn't want to just go activate and then come back home. Like it was like one of them decisions, like I was at a crossroad. Like if I'm gonna move here, that is it. Like I'm not moving back. I'm not gonna be like, hey, yeah, let me just go try it for 5 months or 6 months. And then if I
yeah,
don't like it, I've got a home back home, you know? Like it
yeah,
was very much if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it and not look back. So yeah, it was interesting, and it's not easy. Like, obviously, we'll go into it. Like, getting the license in and being an agent here is not easy, even
yeah,
with someone who's born and raised here. So you just add the
yeah.
10 times more pressure when you're a newcomer.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. So you started doing your license in January 2024, right?
Yeah,
Or 2023?
2023.
2023. Okay. And so how was that process for you? Because obviously, as most students know, like it's a pretty long course, it's expensive, and there's a lot to look at. How's that for you?
Yeah, yeah. Like, I did set myself aside, and I think obviously because I had that money and my hard-earned money from back home, it helped me be able to pay for the course because it is expensive. Like, I think
Yeah,
honestly, like getting my license and then registering and Rico, Treb, like I
yeah.
swear, I'm sure I hit like 10K. I'm
Oh
sure
yeah,
I hit like $10,000. I am sure of it, or slightly
yeah,
below that.
yeah.
But it was a great experience, and I think, again, I genuinely think it's how much you want it. Like I was working full time, Monday to
Mhm.
Friday. Like it's not that I was working part time and trying to get my license. Like I was, so I think that anyone can do it. It's just about how much you want it. Because yes, you have 2 years. I managed to work full time and finish the course and exams within 8 months, and no repeat exams. Like I managed, touch wood, I'm blessed that I managed to pass all the exams in one go.
And so, you were doing this while you were still working full time,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I see. And you said you like passed them all first try and everything like that. Okay. And was there any course that you felt like was harder than others, or?
Oh, I think it was harder. I think course two is, I don't feel like course two was hard. I just think that was like the longest. And I know
Yeah,
everyone calls it the beast. I still remember when I
yeah,
was in
yeah,
the
yeah.
queue. It was the longest, but yeah, like it wasn't, I wouldn't say any of them were harder. If I had to choose it, it'd probably be course two and four.
Course two and four, and so why was four somewhat difficult?
Um, I think it's just trying to make sure you're learning all the, was it course four? I'm trying to look back now. The bit where about, I don't know which course was about the shorelines and unassumed roads. I
Shorelines
don't know
was
if
C
that is
three.
course four. Okay, then we're talking about course three. That
Yeah.
was the hardest one.
Okay. Yeah. No, I think course two is definitely also the hardest, but like you said, C2 is where people usually struggle the most because it's the longest. So typically that's where we see drop offs. Like that's where people will stop doing the course, they take long breaks, or they might even
Mm,
quit and not come back. So,
yeah.
with that being said, like you got through it all first try, which is amazing. And then, when you get started, first of all, like here at least in brokerages in Ontario, most of the advice brokerages will give you is like, hey, first thing you should do is reach out to your sphere of influence. Now,
Yeah.
for you,
I didn't
coming
have one.
from the UK, you didn't
I
have a
didn't
sphere
have
of
one.
influence.
Yeah.
So, what did you do to kind of get your career kind of kickstarted?
Oh, so once I got, like I said, I got my license, but I still didn't really start doing anything, right? I did
Hmm.
sign up with a brokerage. I don't know if I'm like, I signed up with, I'll be very upfront, with Keller Williams.
Okay.
I signed up with Keller Williams, and then I was with Keller Williams from when I got my license in August to November. No, this
Okay.
January, sorry, August to
Mm.
January 2023. And I didn't do much though. Like we all know, and it's not a hype thing, a lot of brokerages are looking to just get their agent, so they'll say anything and try and get. So I think as a student, that's another advice, that don't just fall for it. Like make sure you do your research. Um, because like every brokerage has their own way of doing things, right? I just think as it went on, I wasn't gonna stay with Keller Williams. I don't think I got what I was promised. And then
Mm.
um, so that's why I feel like students especially need to make sure that they make their own decision, because I know a lot of people just write on the group, hey guys, what do you think of this brokerage? What do you think of this brokerage? Or what about this split? What about that split? And
Hmm.
again, that's another advice I can give, that a lot of people, and I see it, I feel still part of that group, and I see people writing on posts, I want a brokerage with zero splits and zero monthly fees. And like
Yeah.
that actually upsets me, because I'm just like, what is it that deep down that person wants out of this career? Is it just to save money, or is it to put in money to get back? You know, like I was with Keller Williams for like, I can't remember, like $100 a month. And now I'm with a brokerage that I have to pay nearly $400 a month.
Oh,
So,
wow.
but I am getting,
Wow.
and but then you think, so, exactly, right? So that's that moment when I chose that my career and what I want out of real estate doesn't have a price tag on it. Like, and now I'm with an amazing brokerage, but I obviously joined that brokerage because I needed to join it because of the team that I literally chased for ages. My team lead's amazing. So yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So, a few things. Like let's talk numbers. So you did your first year in real estate, a little
yes.
bit more than a year, but essentially your first year.
Yeah, so I would
Uh,
say like starting January 2024 is when I would say I started real estate, when I joined the
okay.
team.
So since January 2024, what does the track record look like for you? What is the, deals that you've done,
Oh, it's
volume and
been
stuff?
amazing, and I think every new agent's going to go through it. Where your first year is mostly going to be leases, like,
Yeah.
and they get good money, like, and so like when I joined, again, as I said, I had no sphere of influence. So all these leases are now on my database, and hopefully, whether it's now, whether it's in the future, fingers crossed, they would buy at some point and think of me. Right? Again, that's just the nurturing side of
Oh,
things.
for sure, for
Um,
sure.
but my first year was incredible. Like I made good money. Like I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but I made good money. I made about like 55K just leases and one buyer
Hmm.
deal. But
Hmm.
again, it was very much putting, and leases are time consuming. So it was just, I was just putting myself out there, focusing so hard. And then I had a great first year, and I even ended the year winning the Rising Star Award as well with
Hmm.
my
Hmm.
brokerage. So I'm really proud of that. It's one of my biggest accomplishments. But again, it's because of who I chose as a team lead. I would definitely say that, as much as who it's me as a person and how determined I am was to succeed, being around the right people is so key, especially as a
Hmm.
new agent.
And so for those leases that you did, like how many did you do in total? Um,
Probably about, I think last year I've probably done about 70, probably about
wow,
70 or so.
seven zero.
And then I did two buyer deals. So two buyer deals and about,
Insane.
yeah, 70 leases. And this year, from January to now, I've done 15 so far.
Wow. And so, okay, so here's the thing, like you mentioned yourself, like leases are time consuming.
Yes.
It takes a lot of time and 70 leases, like most people, barely do a few a month. So
Mhm.
how did you manage to, first of all, generate that amount of leads, especially being new here without a sphere of influence? And then how did you manage to just manage all of that,
Yeah.
alone together?
So obviously, a lot of people use Facebook Marketplace. I'm not gonna lie, I was using Facebook Marketplace. Obviously, sometimes when you're with a team, you get your team lead may give you some leads of their listings, for example. But for me, and this is going to be a good tip for new agents who are already licensed as well as students, that I
Hmm.
do it very differently. And I've know there are a lot of agents now that I've been doing it, that just a lead will come in and they'll just take them to like 10 properties, and like they just
Hmm.
go around doing a tour. They haven't got their documents, they don't know what,
Oh
like they,
yeah.
so I do work very differently, and I'm happy to share my secret sauce, because like I want to help. Like for me, I don't ever do, I think I must have lost a few deals because I never do a showing unless I have their documents. I've never done a showing without their documents. I get on the phone to them, whether it's a Facebook lead, whether it's a lead from my team lead. I make sure I've got them on the phone. I go through the entire process, what I need, all of that, and I explain. And a lot of people are like, "But why do I don't want to send my personal information?" I'm sure everyone receives that objection. I don't want to send my documents, but I
Mhm.
somehow tell them like the rent, it's going to put you in a better position because there has been times where I take a tenant out without their documents and then they love the unit. By the time they gather their documents, the unit's leased. So
Yeah.
I basically like get their documents. I work and I
Mhm.
know they're serious when they send me their documents, and then I send them a list of units. I tell them to pick their top three, only their top three, because I have noticed some listing agents don't even get back to you. I
Yeah.
tell them to pick their top three listings, and then I contact each three of those agents. If they're available, great. If they're not, okay. But the ones that are available, I've already built that connection with the agent. So I know I've never done a showing where I haven't spoken to the agent beforehand. So I connect with the agent. I explain the profile. If they're kind enough. I've been touch wood. I've been lucky enough that every agent I've worked with has been amazing. So I would talk with them and I'd be like, "Hey, can I just get a bit of a pre-approval? Can I just look? This is the situation. This is their profile. This is what they earn. Their documents. If you obviously you can't tell me 100% your landlord client will accept them, but." Can you just say like most likely it could work? And then I've never done there's been a few times where I've done multiple showings with a tenant, but most of those leads, I literally go to one unit and it's done. Like one unit, one offer, and it gets accepted. Um, I've even been in multiple offer situations for leases, but it's crazy. It is
Yeah.
absolutely crazy. And with that, again, I've done many deals and I genuinely believe it that where the only reason my client got accepted is because I built that rapport with the agent. So they kind of feel like, I actually think I want to work with Jenny's clients.
Yeah, no, that's actually a really, really great point. Like a lot of times, like, when you get advice from even brokers or
Yeah,
people in the industry, like a lot of it is pretty like it's stuff that you've heard a lot,
yeah,
use marketplace and advertise yourself and use social media.
yeah,
But I think the biggest part about real estate is, the people connection that you're going to have and that rapport you
yes,
create. And the
yes,
more you can create with your clients, the more you can create with other realtors,
yeah,
the easier your job is because now other
exactly.
agents can now help you do your job and it's
Yeah,
a lot better in general. So that's an
yeah,
amazing point. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah,
so,
so
okay,
this, yeah,
yeah,
go.
with that said, so you've done like so many leases, and obviously, um, like doing that amount of leases in within a year, like that means you're doing a lot.
Mm.
Maybe a few at a time, I would imagine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I have a few clients at a time. But there are times when it's quiet and I'm like, where am I going to get my next deal? Like right now, like, like I'm like, okay, I need to do something here. Like it's
Yeah.
quiet right now, for example, but I kind of just keep going. I make sure I try and get the referrals and everything like that.
So, what are you doing to manage your time, manage your clients? Like, do you have a structure for your day? Do you have a CRM? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, so the team's given us all a CRM. We use Follow Up Boss, and I managed to keep in touch with all my clients and make sure you've got the automated systems, like their birthdays, for example, that you don't have to think about it, that your system can
Nice.
automatically. So it's kind of about like making sure that you don't just put them in a lease and then you forget about them. Like you want to try and keep in touch because you never know what could happen later on in life. There's been many times where like I would release doesn't happen, but I'm still keeping in touch with them, and then it kind of works out. So it's
Hmm.
interesting. It's time management is a big thing for me.
Yeah.
But I'm most of the time out and about like every day going to do showings. It's tiring and I do burn out. There's been like last year I was so burnt out. I mean, my team lead was like, relax, take a moment. Like
Yeah.
because I feel like there was 1 month where I did like 12 leases in 1 month and I was like, what am I doing with
Oh
my
my God.
yeah,
Oh my
it was
gosh.
crazy. But I'm
That,
happy.
yeah.
Like it was good.
Yeah. Yeah. So, those leases, like, you're doing a lot of them at the same time. It can be really difficult, obviously, like you said. First of all, it's a lot of driving, which is really hard to eliminate that driving time.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
A lot of other things you can maybe be more productive, but driving, there's not much you can do. You have to drive there, and if it's 20
Yeah.
minutes, if 30
I
minutes,
even
that's what it
moved.
is.
I moved location just so I can be in the middle. Like now I live in North York, and now
Okay.
I'm like it's so much more of a good
Oh, I
location.
see.
But before I used to live in Mississauga, oh,
Okay.
that drive was killing me.
Yeah, just to get to York, it's going to be,
Yeah,
quite a long
yeah,
time. I
and
see. So
downtown
most of
and
your,
stuff.
yeah. So most of your leases, where are they coming from? Are they coming from like GTA West, East, or from
No,
downtown? You said.
everywhere really. Most of them are like downtown most of the time, and that's also because I focus more on like the downtown listings if I'm putting them on Facebook Marketplace, for example. But our
Hmm.
team cover the whole of the GTA, so it could be anywhere. Like we've got
Hmm.
one lease all the way in like Keswick, Georgina area. So we kind of cover the whole
Okay.
we kind of cover the whole GTA basically. But I kind of
Yeah.
don't mind driving, so I guess it's the difference. Like if you hate driving, then
Yeah. Real estate can be tough if you don't like driving.
exactly.
But I also like the point that you mentioned. Like, the thing is, despite the fact that you're starting off leases, a lot of people when they get in, they're very ambitious. I think new realtors, they want to do a lot of deals in the first year. But the thing is, once you do leases, it's super super common once you create that rapport and you do a lease with someone that when they are going to buy their house, the first home, like they're going to trust the person who got them the lease.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's
exactly.
very common for them to go back to that first agent they worked with.
Hmm.
I know a lot of friends, a lot of like relatives as well, who like the first person they call if they're looking for a house is going to be that agent because they have them on their phone.
Yeah.
So that kind of lease based setup that you've done now, because you've done over nearly 100 leases now,
Hmm.
like if you're able to keep that nurture, like that's going to kind of create such a foundation for later. Within one
Yeah,
to 2 years, those
exactly.
results will start reaping, and it's
Yeah.
going to be amazing.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see. And I'm also just trying to not like compare as well because I'm part of a girls team and obviously those girls have
Yeah,
been in the industry for a lot longer as well. So it's even that
yeah,
as a personal thing that I can't be like, oh my God, they're getting so many bigger deals, like not leases, but like the buyers and sellers. And before I used to compare, but not in a bad way, like compare like, wow, like I'm so proud of them. And I wish I can't wait to get to that stage. But I deep down don't think I'm at that stage yet. I'll be very honest. I think I'm still trying. My team lead is now slowly trying to throw me into the deep ends in terms of like
mm,
listing appointments, even a lease listing appointment. I've got my first on I think Thursday. I've got one of my biggest lease listing appointments for a house, which is about $7,000 a month.
wow,
So like she's there to support me, but she was like, I think you could do it yourself. Like, just go put yourself out there. And I think so, like, I'm slowly getting there. I'm just not going to compare
mm,
myself to each other. It's my own journey. And I know at some point, all of, like you said, everything's going to fall together and I'm going to start doing more buyer and sellers. But at present, as much as I'm trying to do sellers and buyers as well in terms of trying to get them, sellers are
yeah.
probably not easier to get, but it's easier for me to prospect. I can go door knocking, for example, like, but with buyers, it's a bit different. You can't go knock on doors, hey, do you want to buy a house? Like, so,
Yeah, I got 1 million in cash right here.
yeah, exactly. So it's a fine line. Just because I'm doing all the focusing on leases as well, like I'm not forgetting to prospect to see if I can get a buyer or seller as well.
No, for sure. And so like your team, obviously, like I think that's a great thing not to be comparing. A lot of times you become a new agent, you're comparing between you and not even your team, maybe your brokerage. And like you
Mhm.
said, they have different experience, different paths, everyone kind of moves differently. So, but in terms of your team specifically, like what kind of volume have you seen your team do? And has that changed your own personal goals for yourself?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like obviously I can't disclose what the volume is, but our
Mm,
team in general, obviously my team lead, she's like one of the biggest agents in the GTA, and then you've got all the rest of the gals, and we do a lot. Like when I say we, it's as a team. We do a lot of deals, buy, sells, a lot of listings, and it gets me excited because especially when it's my team lead, I'm just like I need to be around people who inspire me. Like I don't want to be the best. I know that sounds weird. Like when we do our team meetings every Tuesday,
yeah.
and I'm in I'm sitting in the meeting and I'm listening to everyone and what they're doing because we go through the table, wins and losses. And I just sit there and I'm like, wow, like this is so inspiring. Like, I don't think like, oh my God, I'm doing so like bad. Like they're doing so amazing. It's more about like, I don't want to be the best. I just absorb. Like I'm like a sponge. And all of the girls and my team lead, they've been in the industry longer than me. They know what they're doing. I know that they can just go out and do what they want to do. Whereas I'm still in that learning stage. I feel, yes, I've been an
Hmm.
agent for only a year, and some agents might be already doing so many big deals, but I'm still at that learning stage where just I don't, like I said, I don't want to be the best in the team. I want to actually be a bit below so I can learn. I just want to continue to learn. And
Hmm.
the more
Hmm.
I can go to them, I can talk to them. It does. And I think that's why I'm so glad I'm on a team because this job can be lonely when you're a solo agent. So I think joining this team is like if my team leader is not available, I've already got another experienced agent that I can go to and be like, hey, I have a listing appointment. Can you help me when it comes to comparables? Stuff like that. So it was
Hmm.
it's incredible. Like, one of my other team, one of the other girls helped me yesterday with comparables to teach me how to do them properly. So yeah, I feel like joining a team, like it's been an amazing experience and volume wise, we're doing really well, touch wood. It's been great.
Yeah.
It's been a great start of the year for sure.
No, that's great. And thing is, you mentioned you made the switch from Keller Williams to the team. Like, obviously, you said you weren't satisfied with the previous
Yeah.
brokerage, but how did you know this was the team that you wanted to join? Like, did you look
Yeah,
at a
like
few and how did you
that's a
decide?
good question. So that's another thing that students should know is that don't just go for one team, like interview other teams because you could want to join a team, but like, how do you know that they're the right fit for you? Or are you,
Oh yeah.
like they might not be the right fit for you, for me or the vice versa, right? So I was
Hmm.
following my team lead. I don't know if I'm allowed to mention her name, but her name's Karina. And
Okay.
I was following her on Instagram and I was just like in awe. Like I was just inspired by her Instagram page, everything, and just seeing the content she puts out and what she does. Like it inspired me. And I think that's how I managed to kind of say, you know what, I need to figure out how to get on this person's team because she was already
Hmm.
full girls team, absolutely killing it. And sometimes teams only have enough space for another team member, right? So
Hmm.
one thing that really helped, like I did interview other teams, like when I was with Keller Williams, I was interviewing Keller Williams teams and, and then when with Karina, I was the reason why I chose to chase her, like I chased her for about 3 months, by the way, like it wasn't an easy
Really?
thing, like, and we still laugh about that, me and her, that the fact that I chased her for 3 months until I got an interview with her. So I was,
When you say
and then
chaser, what do you
another,
mean?
like constantly following up because she wouldn't, or she wouldn't. It kept like we would talk and then like it kept getting rescheduled, and we still
I
laugh.
see.
It was so funny. You still laugh about it, and then it finally happened, and I just feel like yeah, it was one of the best decisions. And then when I had my interview, it wasn't just like okay, yeah, you're on the team. Like I still, and I liked the way she did it, where I didn't go onto the team straight away as a full-time team member. I kind of, so from January to April 2024, I was like learning the system because I'd never used follow-up boss, for example. So I was that for the first 3 months, I was in the office 10 to 3 every day. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like going through her system. I was kind of like an inside sales. I'll be doing a lot of follow-up calls for her clients and
Hmm.
just
Hmm.
attending the team meetings, and it gave us a chance in those 3 months that if I fit into that team and if they like me, like
True.
it wasn't just that, yeah, get on my team, I get more money, more split every time you make the deal. Like it wasn't like that. And that's another
Yeah.
thing I loved about her. It was more about see how you feel. Right. And then after the three
Hmm.
months, we'll discuss what you want to do, like if you want to be on the team or not. And it just worked out. like it touched, it was happy. I was so happy, and it just worked out that she agreed to just make me a full-time team member, and I got along with the girls, and yeah, it was. And since then, I've just been doing it. So I genuinely think, for students out there, it's so important to have a mentor. Like I can go to her any time of the day, and she'll be there to help me. So that it's just having a mentor, and because she's got such a proven track record, whatever I ask her, I'm always going to do whatever she tells me because she's obviously done it. She's been doing it for
Yeah,
over 10 years. She knows what she's doing. So I'm just going to be an extension of her, if that makes
yeah.
sense. I'm going to be an extension of her. And yeah, like it's been a good experience.
Yeah, no, I think you mentioned so many good points there. I mean, the first is that, first of all, not being the smartest person in the room is
Yeah,
an amazing way to learn super, super fast because you can be a
yeah,
sponge, right?
exactly.
And having a team, where normally in brokerages, despite the fact that they offer a lot and they usually promise a lot, the thing is that it's very different. Like your team, I think is small, right? Like 5 people in
About
total or
six
something.
girls, yeah,
Yeah,
including Karina. But talking of that, sorry, about the brokerage, sorry to interrupt you.
yeah,
Even that though, like, yes, I'm paying more a month, like $300 more, but
yeah,
it's amazing because I feel like I'm getting the best of both worlds because my broker of record is incredible. Like, I can call him any day and he's always in the office. All I need to do is, if I'm in the office, turn my chair around and he's there. Like, I can just walk
nice.
into his office and so it's kind of like I have literally got the best of both worlds. If my team lead's not available, or it might be a bit of a higher end question that the team members can't answer, he's always there. So I think also making sure you have the correct broker record is so important. Yes, I'm part of a team, but even as a solo agent, if I wasn't part of the team and I just joined a brokerage, I would still feel like I'm part of something.
Yeah, and I think those are kind of probably the most two important points when you look at brokerages. Like, despite the fact that we look at splits and we look at training, I think accessibility, for those people, like just being able to go to them and ask things and
Mhm.
have conversations. I think that is so important because that's not very common. And then
Yeah,
obviously, do they inspire you? Like, is that somewhere you aspire to be?
yeah,
And if it is, then that's probably something that you want to look into. Maybe you want to join that team because the
yeah.
fact that your team lead inspires you has probably motivated you so much more than like a split would have done.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%. Like, I don't think about the monthly fees. I don't think about the splits or anything. Like, and I've always said, and I'll say again that I would, when I was joining the team, yes, of course, the team lead is going to take a split, but it's more about
Yeah,
I'd rather have like even just 70% of something than 0% of nothing. Like it's just
there you
as
go.
long as and that's I know,
Yeah,
and hopefully that saying makes sense. Where I'd rather make even a tiny bit, but I'm learning 10 times more. But then
yeah,
again, it's all a personal thing, right? Where like I know this is crazy to say, but like money isn't my be on and end all right now. My main goal right now is to just learn. Like I'm still a new agent. I'm still learning. I'm still feel like I'm a new person in the country. I don't really know many people yet. Like I don't
hmm,
have that many friends. Like I'm still getting to know people.
yeah,
And it's hard. Like don't get me wrong, it's a very hard thing. Like leaving your entire family and just moving to a new country by yourself. And then on top of that, deciding to just leave your full-time job and then become an agent and
yeah,
you only make money if you do a deal, right?
yeah,
So yeah, I think it's just making sure you know what you're passionate about. And that's why I'm like the money aspect of things right now plays less of a part for me. And I know
yeah,
that there are some people that need that money. So it's a bit of a hard conversation to talk about because I feel like I did so well back home that I'm financially stable to, if I don't make money, I'm okay right now at this precise
hmm.
moment. Sooner or later, I'm gonna be like need money. Like I'm fortunate to
Yeah,
have that blanket right now where okay, cool. Like I can focus on me, I can focus on learning the business, and everything else will come.
yeah, and I think this is kind of probably the trend in most businesses. Like, when you chase money, it's going to run, right?
Yeah,
And when you're focused on things other than money, the money kind of comes as a byproduct of you doing good work. It's usually the same thing in real estate. When you become so focused on the task, obsessive about being good at your job, like the money and the clients and the leads, those will all come as a byproduct of you being a good
Promotions,
agent.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I think that team has kind of helped you a lot. And you mentioned like obviously I think it's probably even a lot harder for you having come here, not having a sphere of influence, not having really family here to help you through it. So like what mindset has helped you kind of get through this kind of first year and so in real estate?
Mindset wise, so I'm a very like person who loves. I feel like I do different hobbies, right? Like I'm
Yeah.
someone who, yes, I do a lot of deals, for example, but I'm take time. I definitely have Jenny time, I like to call it, where whether it's going to, I don't know, like the gym or watching Netflix or meditating. Meditating is a big thing for me. I love it. I absolutely love meditating and just I guess my mindset is just focused on what my end goal is. I make sure that I know what my end goal is. Like even tiny things. Like this year, one of my goals from in January was by March, or let's say April, was to hit a certain amount of views on my Instagram page.
Mm,
So, and like I was just shy of it. It was like, but I did it. Like I was like, wow, this is incredible. Like so I kind of set my mindset is very much set small goals to get the big goal type thing. You know,
hmm
it could be like, okay, I want to make 20 calls today and I want to talk to 5 people. It
hmm
might be the door knocking. So every time I do stuff, I have a goal in mind. Like, like I already know what my week is going to look like. Like I already know that on Saturday, I'll be going door knocking, for example. But most of the time, again, as a new agent, another tip is do as many open houses as you can. Like I've been doing probably open houses, like I'm probably missed a few weekends for this entire time. I'm always doing open houses, even if it's not my team lead or it's someone in our brokerage, or I'm always trying to do
hmm
open houses. And I know it will come. I'm not gonna lie, nothing's come from the ones I've done
hmm
so far, buyer wise, but it's gonna happen. The more you do, it's always a numbers game, right?
Yeah, and it's about putting yourself in those right situations, right, for those
Exactly.
opportunities to happen.
Yeah,
Like you
exactly.
have way more chance of getting a client than someone who just sits at home.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
and the experience obviously is a whole other thing. Now, when you're going to do your own open houses, it's going to be so clockwork for you because you've done it a million times already.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So it's been a good experience. I don't think I'm anywhere near where I want to be, and it's not like I know I
Yeah.
feel like I've spoken a lot of the positive stuff, but I can be very honest and on an emotional level that it's not easy. Like there's been many times I've just cried my eyes out. Like I was like, I can't do this. I'm just gonna cry. Like I would just cry. Like and it's kind of a natural reaction. Like for example, I was
hmm
gonna get my tell you a story. I done obviously only 2 buyer deals last year. Okay. One was
hmm
like a lead from my team lead. So it was kind of
hmm
like, and one was my own one. So my own one, it was a bit of a story where, he was someone I knew from where I was working full time and like he had another agent as well. So it was kind of going back and forth of who he was going to use. And then I
I see.
remember that like it's not all fancy flowers. Like it was hard. Like like, oh, is he going to use me? Is he not going to use me? And I get really emotional about it because I'm so obsessed with what I do. Like, and
Mm.
I did cry. I was like, oh my God, he's not going to use me. And I start crying and I'll call Karina, like, I need positive vibes right now. And then she'll just give me some positive vibes. And then I was fine. And then 2 weeks later, yeah, he said, oh, yeah, I'll use you. And he bought with me. And then so it's like you just never know what's going to happen. Like, so those are some stories where it's never going to be okay. Like sometimes it's going to be hard. You're going to feel like nothing's happening. Like I feel it right now. Like I've got like no actual clients right now. So that's the honest truth. Yeah, I've done X, Y, Z deals last year. I've had a great start to the year, but right now I'm still hustling to try and find who my next client is going to be, whether it's a tenant, landlord, seller, buyer, like I'm still trying to figure out where it's going to go. And I think when you talk about mindset, you need to have that strong enough mindset to not give up just because it's quiet. because I know a lot, the moment it starts getting hard and you're not making any money, you're like, I can't do this. I need a full-time job. Whereas
Mm,
it's, so it's not all fun and games. Like, oh yeah, Jenny done it, so I can do it. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like it's hard. Like, there's been
yeah.
many times where I just lose so much motivation and nothing's going right. I would do a listing appointment and they would choose someone else over me, and I'm like, is it me? Is it because I'm new, or But this is an actual example where that listing appointment I said I have on Thursday, I don't know if I'm going to get it. It's one of my biggest lease listing appointments, like $7,000 a month. But it's like a nurturing thing where always nurture your clients, because I remember he was in January, he was selling his condo, okay? And he had
Mm,
another family home. He was selling his condo. I had my listing appointment, and then he obviously interviewed another agent, and he went with the other agent. And that was for sale. I cried my eyes out. like, like it was just like that was my first like proper lead where I got it. So it was
I
even
see.
more thing. It's not like just a lead from a team lead or for the brokerage, right? And then he sold it, I was like, that's great. Like, he's on my follow-up boss, but obviously I checked and he had sold it. He got the price that I knew he wanted. So I was like, that's great. Look, I'm glad that he sold it. And yeah, okay, yeah, I cried my eyes out thinking, oh my God, I didn't get the listing, but I'm so happy that he did it, and it was a good like relationship. He fully emailed me saying, like, I'm so sorry that I didn't choose you this time, but I am thinking of you, and if there's any referrals, like you and Karina were amazing, and this and that. And now literally last week he reached out to me saying, hey, I need to lease my $7,000 home, do you want to come and do a listing appointment? But even that, like, I'm still going to be competing against whoever else, and I think a lot of people think leases are not worth it, or like they don't give the same amount of passion when it comes to leases and compared to like selling a home. I don't know if you've
Mhm.
probably been in the industry longer than me as well, where there's been times, and you've seen it on Realtor Dots and on Realm, you'll see pictures taken on the phone with someone standing in the picture of leases. I'm just
Yeah.
like, oh my God, like it upsets me so much because I'm someone who's hustling so much to even get a lease listing. And there's people out there that are getting these leases and they're just treating it like nothing. So that's why I'm like, no, I'm going to treat every deal the same, whether it's a lease, whether it's a seller or a landlord, everyone's going to get the same treatment.
Yeah, yeah, and you're right. There is a huge thing about leases in the industry where it's like leases are not coveted. They're like the icky thing you have to do, before you get to the big parts, the
Yeah,
glamorous parts.
exactly.
And so people treat it as like, oh, like this is, just a lease. Like I'm just gonna kind of do it, make a little bit of money just to survive. But really, I'm waiting for like buying and the selling.
Yeah,
But that mindset that you have, which is like treat every deal the same, that is going to become so much more valuable as you get onto these bigger clients because you're going to be treating everything with this obsession of attention to detail.
exactly.
And clients will notice that. And I don't think it's a mistake that you've done, 70 leases last year. That is not common at all.
Mhm.
So doing them really well, I think, it just
It's
leads into
key,
another.
yeah.
And real estate's exponential like that, right? Your client
Yeah, it's
base
always going to be
grows.
up and down, right? So,
Yeah, and as you do more deals, like your client base will just grow over time. Usually agents have been here around for 4 or 5 years actively. By the time they get to the fifth year, leads are not so much of an issue anymore because they
yeah,
have so many
exactly.
people
Yeah,
coming in referrals. So no, I think that is amazing. And that's kind of the real, truth about real estate. It's not always easy.
yeah,
And there's a lot of times where you're gonna feel not confident, you're gonna doubt yourself, you're gonna be like, oh, I
yeah.
haven't got a listing in a few weeks. Like, what do I really do?
I
And
do.
and
Yeah,
sticking with it, through the highs and lows, because sometimes it's not your fault. Sometimes it's just the
yeah,
market,
yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah,
And you got to be ready to just hit the ground running once the market kind of comes back.
exactly. Yeah.
So no, I think that's amazing. You have some really good advice. Okay, so I mean, like a few last things. I want to ask you if you could go back in time, what would you do differently when preparing for your license, or even about anything about moving from here from UK to here? What would you do differently?
I think what I would do differently, one advice would be that start networking. I think I wish I networked while I was getting my license. Yes, I don't know
Mm,
too many people, but the people I do know, I feel like I should have told, like, how do you say it? Like, I wish I'd told them that I'm getting my license, just an FYI, or nearing the end of me getting my license. There's no point telling them when I'm on my first course, but as I was
Yeah.
knew that I was getting to the stage where I was going to get licensed, what I would do differently is reaching out to the people I did know. And stuff like that. One thing I would say that's one thing I didn't do, which I wish I did do. One thing I did do, which I'm happy about, is I reached out to all random agents on Instagram. I literally looked on Instagram, and for example, when I was deciding on a brokerage, when I was going to choose between
Yeah.
Keller Williams or Remax or whatever, I was messaging Keller Williams agents. I was
Uh-huh.
messaging Keller Williams agents. I was messaging agents in general who I thought looked. Social media is such a gimmick in a way, right? You don't know what's happening. Like I could
Yeah.
put all the good stuff on my phone. On my Instagram could be all the good stuff. No one's going to see me. Apart from I've done a story once where I was literally crying, and I was like, "This is the truth." And like I think it's allowed me to relate to a lot of people, and a lot of people to relate to me because I say it how it is. Like and I think that's what I'd say that I didn't do is put myself out there more while I was getting my license. I wish I had made more friends during that
Mhm.
time. I wish I had reached out to the people I did know. Obviously, I've got like a few cousins here. I wish I had reached out to them while I was getting my license to tell them, hey, I'm going to be getting my license and this and that, you know? And I wish
Yeah.
that another thing would be like, in regards to the teams and stuff, the only reason why it took a bit longer is like I wish I'd reached out to Karina sooner. Like, but it's like it wouldn't have made a difference because everyone's gonna every team lead or broker is gonna be like, get in touch once you've got your license. So
Yeah, that's the thing as well. Like they don't take you serious all the time. But the thing you mentioned about at least reaching out to people because a lot of the agents here, they've been living here for a while. They know a lot of people, and I've seen this a lot because I've helped a lot of people get their license, and they get to the end, and then obviously they didn't tell anybody, and then they have no clients when they have their
yeah,
license.
exactly.
So
So I think that's one thing I would have changed if there was, like you mentioned, one thing I would have done differently. It would have been to start connecting with more people while I was getting my license. Even stuff like I've just joined F45, that gym like class thing. I wish I joined
okay.
that sooner, but I've joined it now. Where again, like obviously I'm into my fitness, but another thing is to just network and get to know people in my community, right? So I've joined it
Hmm.
now. So it's just like just getting to know more people for me anyway. It might be a different goal for other people, but I would say one of the things I wish I did do was reach out to the people I did know while I was getting my license.
Yeah, no, I think that's amazing advice. Like, a lot of students, like I said, like I know a lot of students who come out and it's kind of clean slate when they come out. And it's very demotivating because they feel like they're starting from scratch, which,
Yeah.
if you can kind of like do a little bit of that networking before, let people know by the time you get your license, you might already have a listing or a lease or a few things
Yeah,
waiting for you, which could be
exactly.
amazing. Okay, so a few last things then. Before you go, I wanted to hit you with a rapid fire. So,
Oh, God. Okay.
super quick answers, like one word or
Okay.
a sentence.
Okay.
So just five things, okay? And this is just you personally, just so we can get to know you.
Okay.
So, first thing, what is your favorite book that you read?
Favorite book, The Notebook.
The Notebook.
Yeah.
Really? Why the Notebook? What about the Notebook?
Actually, I'm changing that. I know this is a rapid fire, but let me change that actually.
Okay.
And I know that's crazy. I would say Sell It Like Sirhan from Ryan Serhant.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I was expecting a real estate book.
Oh yeah, I mean, it would. I've got like my top. I've even got it laid out in my condo. All of my real estate books on a shelf. It's very
Nice.
motivational. I've got loads of real estate books though.
Nice. Okay, cool. What is your favorite genre of music?
Ooh, R&B, and I like
R&B.
dance hall as well.
Okay. All right. What's your favorite podcast?
Ooh, the Jay Shetty one. I forgot what it's called.
Oh, I know what you're
Uh,
talking about.
I forgot what it's called. But it's the
I don't
Jay
even know.
Shetty podcast
It's the
one.
Jay
Yeah.
Shetty podcast.
Yeah, on purpose. On purpose.
On
That's it.
Purpose.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes. That's my favorite
Okay.
podcast.
What's your favorite movie?
You're giving me a hard one here. My favorite movie. Oh, that's hard to choose. You're telling me to do this as a rapid fire? My favorite movie. Oh my God, I can't answer that. I got too many.
Give me one of the favorites. We'll say top 10, at least as long as top 10.
Okay, top 10 would be, I know it said it as a book, but The Notebook, the movie.
The Notebook.
Yeah, the movie, yeah.
Okay.
The one in
All
Ryan
right.
Gosling. Maybe a little bit to do with him being in it.
Okay, last one. What is your favorite food?
Ooh, Mexican. I love tacos.
Really, tacos. Every open house I come, there's just gonna be tacos.
Yeah, it's tacos.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So, I mean, thank you so much, Jenny. I mean, this is, I think, an amazing interview. I think it was super, super insightful. And being such a high producing agent yourself, I think you already showed a lot of the habits that are probably gonna be so instrumental for you to go on in your career later. Like, I can totally see you being somewhere where you want to be in
Yeah.
1 to 2 years. So, thank you so much for reaching out. I think that was amazing. Where can people reach out with you? Who you work for, where's your social media handles? Like,
Yeah.
where can they reach out with you?
People can reach out to me on Instagram at realtorjenny underscore. That's it. Realtorjenny underscore. Or you can email me at jenny@eskandarirealestate.com.
Beautiful. And what's your team or your brokerage if you want to give them a shout as well?
Yeah, my team is the Eskandari real estate team, and my team leader's name is Karina Eskandari. You can find her on Instagram as well. And my brokerage is Union Capital Realty.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, that was an amazing interview, Jenny. I'll put all those kind of handles, links in the comments. So anybody watching, you guys can find that in the below. And then, of course, if you guys need help with the courses, you guys know me. I'm always doing these group sessions and all of that. So feel free to reach out to me. Reach out to Jenny, please. I think she's super
Sure, I'm
helpful.
here to help.
And she's here to help. And I think you guys can benefit a lot. Awesome. Thank you so much, Jenny.
Thank you
Thank you
so much
everyone
for
for
having
watching.
me.
Yes, I will see
Thank
you
you.
guys in the next one. All right. See you guys.